Welcome to another episode of our DIY series. Today we're diving into the world of DIY flower pots. We're going to explore a variety of projects, from upcycling old items into unique pots, to crafting your own from scratch. Not only are these projects cost-effective, but they also allow you to express your creativity and add a personal touch to your garden or home decor. So, fasten your seatbelts and get ready to transform your garden with these stunning, easy-to-make DIY flower pots. First up, let's turn trash into treasure. Upcycling old items into flower pots is not just eco-friendly, it's also incredibly creative. Imagine that old pair of boots you've been meaning to get rid of. They can serve as a new home for your plants. Yes, you heard it right. So, how do we get started? You'll need a few basic tools: a drill for drainage holes, some gravel or broken pottery for additional drainage, potting soil, and of course your plant of choice. First things first, we need to ensure our plant has proper drainage. Take your drill and make a few holes in the sole of the boot. Don't be shy, the more drainage, the happier your plant will be. After drilling, add a layer of gravel or broken pottery at the bottom. This will help prevent the roots from sitting in water and developing root rot. Now it's time for the fun part, adding the soil and the plant. Fill the boot about halfway with potting soil. Then, gently place your plant in the boot, spreading out the roots as you do so. Once your plant is in place, add more soil around it, making sure it's stable, but don't pack the soil too tightly. There you have it, a stylish and eco-friendly plant pot that's sure to turn heads. But don't stop there. There are countless items lying around your house that can be transformed into unique plant homes. An old teapot, a tin can, or even an old lamp can be given a second life as a flower pot. Remember, the key to successful upcycling is to think outside the box. Look at old items with a creative eye and consider their potential. Not only is this a fun and rewarding project, but it's also a small step towards more sustainable living. And voila, you have just created a unique, eco-friendly flower pot from an old item. Stay tuned for more creative DIY ideas for your garden and home. Now, let's add some flair to those plain pots you've got lying around. Adding a personal touch to your pots can be as easy as pie, and the results can be truly stunning. All you need are some basic materials and a dash of creativity. Let's start with a simple yet effective method: painting. Acrylic paint works best for most pot materials, adhering well and providing a vibrant, long-lasting finish. If you're working with a ceramic or terracotta pot, make sure to apply a primer first for better paint adherence. Don't be afraid to get creative with your designs. From geometric patterns to abstract art, the sky's the limit. But why stop at paint? Another fabulous way to jazz up your pots is by using fabric. This technique works particularly well on plastic pots, creating a unique, textured look. Choose a fabric that complements your plant and the surrounding decor. Cut it to size and stick it onto your pot using a strong adhesive. It's as simple as that. And if you're feeling particularly adventurous, why not try a mixed media approach? Combine paint with small items like buttons, beads, or even shells to create a truly unique pot. Or wrap your pot in twine for a rustic, natural look. When using additional materials, always ensure they are securely attached and non-toxic to your plants. Remember, the key to successful pot decoration is patience and creativity. Allow each layer of paint or adhesive to dry fully before moving on to the next. And don't be afraid to experiment with different designs and techniques. After all, the beauty of DIY is that you can always start over if you're not happy with the result. So, grab your materials, roll up your sleeves, and let your imagination run wild. With a little creativity and effort, you can transform a plain pot into a stunning piece of decor. You might surprise yourself with what you can create. So, with a little creativity and effort, you've transformed a plain pot into a stunning piece of decor. Feeling a little more adventurous? Let's create a flower pot from scratch. Creating a flower pot from scratch may sound daunting, but with a bit of patience and creativity, it's a rewarding project that results in a truly unique piece. You can use concrete, clay, or even recycled materials. Today we'll focus on making a classic clay pot. First off, gather your materials. You will need a block of clay, a rolling pin, a round cookie cutter or a similar object, a knife, and a kiln for firing the pot. If you don't have access to a kiln, air-dry clay is a great alternative. Start by kneading your clay to make it more pliable. Once it's soft and easy to manipulate, use your rolling pin to flatten it out into a large, thin sheet, about 1/4 inch thick. Next, use your cookie cutter to cut out a circle from the clay. This will be the base of your pot. For the sides, cut a long strip from the remaining clay. The height of this strip will be the height of your pot, so adjust it to your preferred size. Now, it's time to assemble our pot. Wrap the clay strip around the edge of the base, making sure the ends meet up neatly. Use your fingers to smooth the joints, sealing the base and the sides together. Once you're happy with the shape of your pot, leave it to dry. If you're using a kiln, follow the manufacturer's instructions for firing. If you're using air-dry clay, simply leave your pot in a dry, well-ventilated area for a few days. And voila, you've created your very own flower pot from scratch. But don't stop there. You can add personal touches by carving designs into the clay, painting it, or even adding a glossy glaze. Remember, the beauty of DIY is that there are no rules. So let your imagination run wild and create something that is authentically you. And there you have it, a flower pot that's completely yours from start to finish. Now that you've got these beautiful pots, let's talk about choosing the right plants. The perfect plant does more than just sit pretty in your pot. It complements its surroundings and thrives in its new home. When it comes to choosing your leafy companion, there are three main factors to consider: pot size, sunlight needs, and watering requirements. Pot size is crucial. Your plant needs enough room to grow and spread its roots. For smaller pots, consider petite plants like succulents or African violets. These charming little plants don't need much room to grow, but they pack a punch when it comes to visual appeal. Sunlight needs vary from plant to plant. Some love basking in the sun's rays all day, while others prefer a bit of shade. Cacti and succulents are perfect for those sunny spots, while ferns and snake plants thrive in low-light conditions. Watering requirements are another key factor. Some plants like to keep their feet wet, while others prefer to dry out between waterings. For example, peace lilies appreciate consistent moisture, while aloe plants are more drought-tolerant. Remember to do a little research before bringing a new plant home. Understanding a plant's needs can make all the difference between a thriving green companion and a wilting wallflower. Remember, the right plant can enhance the beauty of your DIY pot and ensure it thrives. We've reached the end of today's DIY journey, but the fun doesn't have to stop here. Let's quickly recap what we've covered. We started by upcycling old items, transforming them into unique flower pots that hold a story. It's not just about reusing, it's about creating something one of a kind from something that's been loved before. We then moved on to decorating plain pots. With paint, fabric, and a little bit of imagination, we breathed new life into ordinary pots, making them extraordinary. Remember, there are no rules here. It's your canvas, so let your creativity flow. Next up was creating pots from scratch. We tried our hands at working with concrete, clay, and recycled materials. It's a bit tricky at first, but with practice, you'll be molding your own pots in no time. Don't get discouraged if your first few attempts aren't perfect. The beauty of DIY is in the process as much as the end result. We also talked about choosing the right plants for each pot. Size, sunlight needs, watering requirements. These are all factors to consider when deciding on your green companions. It's not just about the pot, it's about creating a suitable home for your plants. Now it's your turn. Try these projects. Unleash your creativity, make a mess, have fun. There's something incredibly satisfying about creating something with your own two hands, especially when it's a home for your plants. Maybe you'll stick to the projects we've covered. Maybe you'll invent something entirely new. Either way, we'd love to see what you come up with. So, go ahead and share your creations in the comments. Have an idea for a future DIY project? Let us know. This is a community of creators and we're always excited to see what you're working on. Don't forget to share your creations or ideas for future DIY projects in the comments. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button for more creative DIY home and garden content. Until next time, happy crafting.